morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Monday. It's the Monday after Tottenham smashed the granny out of Everton. We were there. We saw it. We got the 4 goals. It was amazing. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm joined as always on Mondays by Jimbo and Chang. Mr. Nick may be along later, but this isn't going to be that long a show because we've got to go out shortly. Jimbo, first of all, how are you doing?
And how lovely was that?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just say good morning to Chang because I haven't said good morning to him. Morning, Chang. And morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mr. Boxall.
Happy with the 4-0 win.
Yes.
Very
exactly.
indeed.
Exactly. Mr. Chang, how you doing? Had a good weekend?
One of the best weekends I've had in a long while, and that's not even considering my daughter's, my eldest daughter's upcoming 10th birthday in a week's time. So things can only get better for me. But what a way to end the month of August. I know it's not been the easiest of August that kicked off with 2 back-to-back defeats to Bayern Munich, and the Leicester away draw seems to have somewhat hampered the start to our season, but what a performance by every single player that came on that pitch. I mean, we can write off Brennan Johnson or mark him down or, give him pelters, but he was just doing, I felt anyway, for the most part, he was doing what Big Ange expected and instructed him to do. But for the rest of the team, I mean, what a shift, what a performance, and what a win with a clean sheet to boot as well.
Yeah, exactly that. Chang, what date's your daughter's birthday?
Her birthday is on the 4th of September, but I have to celebrate it on a Sunday, which is on the 1st of September, because the 4th of September is on a Wednesday. So what I have to do is I have to bring it 3 days earlier in advance to Sunday, which is September the 1st.
Okay, because our son's 18 on the 6th, and me and Jimbo have been married 16 years on the 6th. So that's why
only 2 days. Wow, yeah, that's only 2 days apart. Wow.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
I know.
Only 16. I thought it was about 30.
I thought it was about 50, darling. Won't be 17 if you carry on. Let's have a look who's in the chat. We've got Cougar Bear saying you've still got 50 minutes. Scrap this nonsense. Go and get Amelia and do queries and theories. Big up, Coos. Nick saying I'm just a girl who loves a boy. Spurs. Notting Hill quote, exactly. Big up to you, Nige Coys. Big up, Drew Lala. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good result against Everton, but there are much stronger challenges ahead. Yep. Good afternoon to you, Scott Colliver. Spurs GCTV, Graham's in the house. Hope you are doing well. It's only been the last 2 years we've been stuffed at Newcastle for years. That was all where that was have always won. Yeah. And Newcastle, look, they're not looking great at the minute. But that's the next one. Big up Shaggy. Good to see Smithy's in the house. Big up Smithy. Angus is here. Great win for the Gooners at the weekend. Brushed past Villa in the end. Good afternoon to AJ. Hope you're doing well. Good to see everybody here on a Monday. Yep, slap a like on the stream, guys, and show the love. Nick saying, I saw Ham. Maybe it's a West Ham tattoo. No. Good evening, Tigaro. Hope you're feeling a bit better. Happy birthday to Chang's little one. My daughter's on the 31st of August and son's on the 1st of September. Expensive week. Wow. Very expensive week. Big up Daniel Sandoval. Hope you're well. GBC fans in the house saying Odebert is the greatest winger I've ever seen. Paul Pablo's here. Good up to you. That was a champion's performance. I said the same thing to Vindaloo yesterday, Angus. That's what champions do. Harmless Potatoes here. Hope you're well. As I said, we're going out, so we're going to whisk through the scores, and then we'll have a chat about the Tottenham game, and we will talk about some of the games. But brilliant weekend of football, some brilliant results. Obviously, Tottenham's being the most impressive, of course. But the first game of the weekend was Brighton 2, Manchester United 1, a score that Jimbo actually predicted. So he started the weekend off with 3 points. Chang started it off with 0, so did Nick, but I started it off with 1. Jimbo, we watched some of the match at the Tottenham Stadium. both me and you predicted Brighton beat Man United. Man United still not looking that great.
No, I thought they'd kick in this season. I think maybe it's too early, but I think I still think they'll do well this season, Kate. I don't think they're a bad team. I just think they need to get together and work as a unit. So, but I didn't fancy him to beat Brighton. Obviously, I got that right, that score. But I still think they'll kick in and finish up there, 5-4, 5, somewhere around about there.
Just reference to this, when Porro took his shirt off, you can hear me going, oi, oi. Brighton kind of been a bit of the surprise package. I think maybe because we thought they might dip a little bit, but so far they're looking good this season. I know it's only 2 games in, but unbeaten. Chang, obviously you predicted a draw for this one. Obviously Brighton with the win. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised because up until the 94th or 95th minute, was it, before Brighton scored the eventual winner, I thought I would have been able to cash in on my 1-1 draw. It was looking like 1-0 for the most part, going into extra time as well. And lo and behold, Manchester United decided to leave that back post completely unmarked for João Pedro, I think it was, who scored the winner, the late winner for Brighton, which is, in all fairness, it's well deserved for them. So I'm not going to begrudge them my 3 points of prediction. But I think United still have their defensive frailties. I mean, if it wasn't for Onana, I think Danny Welbeck had chances to score more than one as well, I think. And I think, the win was definitely deserved for Brighton. Fair play to them. United still look shaky, and I think it's going to be tough for them to even get into top 5, let alone top 4 this season.
Yeah, I mean, I've got them in my top 4. I do think they'll find their feet, but I thought they would start off like a steam train. So I'm quite surprised that they haven't. But, things you love to see is what I can say about that. The next match, I'm not going to tell a lie. I know absolutely nothing about this game. Obviously, the 3 o'clocks, we don't really know anything about. We watched Match of the Day. But Palace 0, West Ham 2, I believe, which means that only Nick got a point because the rest of us predicted either a Palace win or a draw. Chang, do you know anything about this game? Did you see anything, read anything, heard anything?
I can only speak of what I saw over on Match of the Day. The game was pretty even, if memory serves me right, up until the hour mark when Thomas Soucek broke the deadlock, and that was then followed up very closely by Jared Bowen's second, which effectively killed off the game. But in terms of the possession and also the shots on target registered by both sides, it was pretty even. The telling part, I think, was down to the West Ham goalkeeper, Areola, and also the defensive frailties for the Palace goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, that made all the difference. I mean, we can write off West Ham all we want, but I believe they should be in and about top 7, top 8 maybe. If anything, I think Palace will be the one to struggle because if you look at Eze has he has yet to open his account for the season. Yeah, and I think his chances were sort of limited in that game itself, at home too, no less, against United. So let's not write West Ham United off so soon before the halfway mark of the season, and we never know whether West Ham can surprise the season this season.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you say. We'll run through this next one. Fulham 2, Leicester 1. Jimbo again nicking 3 points on this one with Kate, that's me and Nick getting a point each, and Chang getting no points, predicting a draw. I just had a feeling Fulham would win because we couldn't beat Leicester, and that's what happened. But not much to say about that game. So I'm going to whiz on.
No, they're good. They're good. They're not a bad team at home, Fulham. That's why I predicted them to win.
Yeah. We all predicted City to win. None of us got the exact score right. Glad to see Ipswich open their account, get a goal there, albeit the early goal. And the crowd looked so happy, the players looked so happy, and then it all went tits up. But
I wasn't far wrong. I said 5-1, didn't I?
Jimbo, you said 5-1, yeah, and I said 4-0. So did Nick, and Chang said 3-0. So we were all kind of close, but no one was spot on. A lot of people raving about, is it Savio? Is that how you say his name? For Man City, their new signing. I'm sure that's his name. A lot of people saying he's going to be the signing of the season. Apparently, he was incredible.
Savinho.
That's not possible, Kate. It's not possible because Odegaard's going to be the signing of the season.
Maybe so. But, you know, Man City doing what they do. What's the word? Rushing past teams with ease. Excuse me. Do you know what? Amelia's sprayed her perfume. It's all gone down my throat. Then Southampton 0.
Your throat smells nice now.
Yeah, it does. Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. The only one to get points on this game was Nicolas, who got 3 because he got the score right. Chang, I don't know about you. Southampton are one of my definite picks to go down this year.
Well, this is so again from what I saw purely from the BBC Match of the Day highlights, and yeah, for me, for Southampton to not even get a point against fellow relegation candidates like Nottingham Forest is going to be worrying for them, seeing as how they are supposed to stay up, or at the very least challenge to stay up, but against Nottingham Forest at home, I'm sorry, I just didn't see enough of them to convince me that they will stay up. Although you could also say the same for Nottingham Forest. I mean, up until the hour mark, I don't think they'd even registered a single shot on target. That was, I think, just before Morgan Gibbs-White scored the only goal, which turned out to be the eventual winner. So I think both teams are still going to struggle, but between these two, I would definitely pick Nottingham Forest to survive relegation ahead of Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually predict both of these teams to go down, but I'm like you, Chang. If I could save one, it would be Nottingham Forest. I've got a bit of a affiliation with them. I think it's because of all the battles that Spurs had with them back in the day. Yeah, big up, Jess. Sorry to hear the results weren't what you wanted, whatever it is, but I hope you're okay, and you know where we are if you need anybody to talk to. You know where we are. Big up to EMF, who's just arrived, and LFC Aaron as well. Big up to you. Next game of the weekend. Obviously, we'll just touch on the score. In fact, let's save that one. Let's save the best till last. We'll go to this one. Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 2. Now, we all predicted a draw except Nick, who predicted Arsenal to win 2-1, so he gets a point. I thought this would be a really difficult test for Arsenal, and admittedly, Watkins should have scored. Raya made an absolutely unbelievable save, but you know, that's 2 out of 2 for Arsenal. It was, I said to Vindaloo last night, this is what champions do. They find a way to win when things, you know, it's this, all the ifs, buts and monkey nuts. Sometimes things go your way, and this is what happens. Chang, did you see any of the game?
I was able to watch possibly the first hour or so after I put my daughters to bed last night. And like I said, like you already mentioned earlier, David Raya for me was definitely man of the match, given his heroics to deny Ollie Watkins from that point-blank rebound header off the crossbar. But I think, honestly, at home, in front of the home faithful, Ollie Watkins should have been doing better, especially in the first half itself, where David Raya was already beaten all ends up at his near post. It was just a simple tap-in for him, but unfortunately, even at a close range with the goal mouth at his mercy, Ollie Watkins wasn't able to turn the shot home, and I think that came back to bite them, because the 2 goals that Emilio Martinez considered, I believe, were sort of weak. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were still good good shots on target by the substitute Trossard and also by Partey. But those are shots I would expect the World Cup winner to be saving for Aston Villa. So I think it's just unlucky for Villa to not have capitalized on the chances when they had them, and it's lucky for Arsenal to walk away with all 3 points when a win for Villa was looking more likely at the hour mark.
Yeah. Jimbo, thoughts on the Goons?
Yeah, the thing is that if you're going to play Arsenal and you ain't going to take your chances, you're going to get beat. It's as simple as that. And when I saw Watkins, he missed 2, not easy chances, but chances he should have put away, didn't take them. Then the writing's on the wall. You're not going to get away with it with teams like Arsenal. So don't take your chances. You're going to lose, and that is just a fact.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say about Arsenal, someone said they've lost their soft side, which they have. Once upon a time, they'd have crumbled a little bit, but they look a different animal at the minute. But again, it's only 2 games into this season, but they're unbeaten. Big up, Leo. Hope you're well. I don't know if you've opened your present for London yet. You have to let me know. Big up, Daniel Coys as well. And look, we've got Chang speaking in. How do you even say that?
Okay, so this is Malay. I believe this lady here, Miss Suraida Shari, she's a Malaysian as well. She's an Arsenal Malaysian fan. So pretty much I'm telling her good evening in Malay. Selamat petang dari Kuala Lumpur, Cik Shari.
Wow, that was very impressive. I would have read that as Selamat Petang dari Kuala Lumpur Kick Shari. So you sound so much
quite
better.
Close. That was quite close. That was as close enough.
Okay, well, maybe they'll understand. Big up, Adrian. Good to see you. Good to meet you at the weekend as well. But yeah, Arsenal doing what they do and winning again. This was a surprise at the weekend. Bournemouth won, Newcastle won. Jimbo, was you shocked?
No, I thought Newcastle would win it. I did put Newcastle to win, didn't I? I think I did.
Yeah.
But really, I should have done a draw because Bournemouth at home, and these small teams at home, they seem to put a lot more into it. So I should have been a bit smarter with my prediction there. They're hard to beat, these smaller teams at home. Really hard. They seem to, with the crowd behind them, really get up for games, and Newcastle's a big game for them. So no, it doesn't surprise me, Kate, not at all.
What about you, Chang? I mean, Bournemouth lost to Solanke, but they seem to have invested their money well.
Again, this is quite like the Aston Villa and Arsenal game we touched upon. I mean, even without Solanke, I thought Bournemouth were good for the draw, even by the hour mark. Just before, I believe they conceded, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Anthony Gordon who scored for Newcastle before Marcus Tavernier equalized for them. So I think, it was Tavernier who scored first, and then Anthony Gordon equalized. So yeah, I think it was fair play to Bournemouth. I think they definitely deserved the point. They could have gotten all 3 points. And Newcastle United not being able to capitalize against Bournemouth away, at Bournemouth, I think is going to we're going to feel the comeuppance of that. Mark my words, when we play there at St James's this coming Saturday. So I really hope the lads are up for it, because Bournemouth will definitely be licking their wounds, not being able to win. So let's just hope that the lads show up as well against Newcastle United this Saturday.
Exactly. Paddy, funny story.
I was just going to say that.
We was driving, because I wasn't very well after the game. So Nick, the absolute legend and kindest person, took us to Liverpool Street in the car. And we was driving down. I saw this guy in the most wicked retro jumper. And then when we got to Liverpool Street, we was going down the escalators, and this guy ran up behind us and went, "Come on, you Spurs," this Irish guy. And he had the shirt on. It was the same guy. Anyway, it was Bob Dwyer, and he knows you, so you must know him. And we got chatting, and what a lovely guy. absolutely top guy, but he
Yeah.
knew you straight away. So it was mad because Jim was like, "Do you know Paddy?" And he went, "What, Paddy Hardnett?" Like that. Because I was going to say,
He's not.
not
He wasn't a
everybody-
leprechaun, Kate.
I was going to say to Jim, of course he doesn't. Everyone doesn't know everyone, but he knew you straight away. So yeah, funny story. Leo saying, Kate, I didn't make it to my mum's. We stayed here watching football all day. The mighty Colorado Rapids qualified for our Champions League yesterday. Yeah, up the pid.
Up the pids.
Up the pids. Was the Bournemouth goal that got disallowed that bad? I've never seen. I didn't see it either.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh dear, sad news. Sven Goran Eriksson has died. Breaking news, apparently. He did release a sort of a goodbye last week, so I thought it would be soon. But God bless Sven. Thanks for the memories. But yeah, sad news today. Paddy saying, yeah, Bobby's from Dublin. He's a top guy. Lovely guy.
Yeah, it was
him
nice.
on Twitter. I'm going to try and get him on the show. So funny as well.
Yeah, we had a good chat with him, and he was a really, really nice guy.
Yeah. Chelsea look good. Arsenal look good. Newcastle look average. To be sure. Yeah, RIP Sven, only 76 years old. I don't think he sounds like a leprechaun. Do you know what? Without being racist, I think you all sound the same, the Irish people. Sorry. You probably think we all sound the same. I get called Cockney all the time, and I'm from Kent.
You're so dolly. If you hear Irish people talk, you can tell what different regions they're from by their accents, like English.
Yeah, there's Southern or Northern. One of them's really, really, I can't understand them, and the rest sound the same.
As an Asian, I cannot tell the difference between an Irishman and a Scotsman. This is no, honestly, please don't laugh. This might sound very strange to you. It's almost like saying, say, a Brit or an American or an European. You can't differentiate, say, between a Chinese and a Korean and a Japanese. That's the same for me. Me as an Asian, I cannot tell the difference between a Scotsman, a Welshman, and an Irishman.
That sounds like a joke. But Jimbo, when we had someone come and fix our boiler, Jimbo was chatting to him and he said, "Oh, are you Polish?" And I just burst out laughing because he was actually Welsh. He was Welsh and Jim thought he was Polish. So say no more. Yeah, always sad, very sad to hear that Sven Goran Eriksson's passed away. There's no racism, is that, Kate? We have hundreds of accents. Kerry, that's the one. Kerry, really hard. Yeah. We started watching Derry Girls and I couldn't understand the girls, so we had to turn it off. But anyway, if Sven had beat Brazil in that World Cup quarterfinal where David Seaman bottled it, England would have a second World Cup right now. If Sprouts and monkey nuts, Daniel. If Sprouts and monkey nuts.
Even to this day, I don't think Ronaldinho meant that chip. I don't think it was even a shot on target. It was one of those fluke goals that looked over David Seaman in the quarterfinals. I watched it time and time again. I just couldn't believe that it went in. And I felt so bad for David Seaman. I still remember vividly seeing photographs of him like holding his child at the airport, just trying to use it as a shield against the reporters. That was just so heartbreaking to see. Even if it's a rival goalkeeper, David Seaman having to cradle his child to shield himself from photographers and reporters. That was just so sad.
Yeah, it was terrible. But Wolves 2, Chelsea 6. We watched the first half and were very excited when it went in at 2-2. And Jim was convinced that Wolves were going to beat them. And then it all went Pete Tong. Jimbo, what did you make of Chelsea? We didn't. I've got to be honest. As soon as it went 4-2, we turned it off because I can't bear to watch them win. So we watched up to 4-2. But I mean, what do you make of it, Jimbo?
It's like similar to last season, Kate. They had spells in the game, Chelsea, where they could have goal after goal after goal. I mean, Wolves could have scored 4 or 5 goals. And then they have spells where they just look fantastic. You know, where the link-up play is really good and they're going forward really good. Good crosses. But I still don't know what to make of them. I'm still confused with them. Because Wolves could have scored 5 goals. So I think it's maybe a bit like we were last season, you know, can score, but we're going to leak as well. So I'm hoping that's out of our game this season. But that's what it looks like to me, that they can score goals, but they're going to leak goals.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, Chelsea, they're such
Yeah, they
a
did.
funny...
Ian Meff's right. They did play some really good football, but they look so vulnerable as well, Ian. You
Yeah,
know,
their defence at times is questionable.
yeah.
They literally got cut through. People say we get cut through like butter. That's what happened to Chelsea. But they've got the foundation of a fantastic team. It's just getting it all to work, and all this keep buying players. I'm not sure that's the way forward. But Chang, what did you make of it?
At the halftime interval, I thought both teams were equal, going into the break at 2-2. But straight after the restart, I mean, the way Madueke, the way he
Yeah,
got his hat trick in a matter of minutes, I think it was like 15 or 14 minutes tops from his first goal to his hat trick. It was just one-way traffic all the way. And we did speak about this player. I think it was either last week or the week before last, João Felix, whether or not we would prefer, or rather whether we would fancy taking João Felix at Spurs. Well, surprise, surprise, he came on and he scored the sixth and final goal for Chelsea. So yeah, I think Chelsea are going to be a force to reckon with. But as Mr. Boxall very rightly pointed out earlier, I think they will leak goals as well. The whole game plan, I think, for them is to simply outscore the opposition. And sooner or later, when the better teams get wind of this tactic, I think they're going to be sussed out, much like Big Ange last season. It's just only a matter of how soon the other top teams get wind of this strategy by the new Chelsea boss.
Yeah, I agree. And I still think if they'd have kept Poch, they'd be in a better position. But we'll see. I think Wolves are going to really struggle this year. I really do. But saying that, the first half they looked good. They were like us, 45-minute FC yesterday, because then it all went wrong. And then before we move on to the best game of the weekend, obviously, Liverpool beat Brentford 2-0, which, Chang, you predicted. You were the one who got the score correct. Liverpool doing what Liverpool do. Another team I kind of thought would struggle a bit with the new manager coming in, but so far so good for them. Any thoughts on them?
Well, I mean, the game was there for the taking for them, and straight from the kickoff, you could see that Liverpool meant business. Especially, I think they were attacking the cop end at the first half, and as soon as Luis Diaz scored that 12th, 13th minute open, I think it was for Liverpool, it was just, there was only going to be one outcome, put it this way. The only thing that surprised me was how late into the game, before they actually registered a second goal via Mohamed Salah, and by then it was already game over even before they had scored the second goal. But yeah, Liverpool looked good for the win. And as for Brentford, well, we all saw what a big miss Ivan Toney is going to be for Brentford. He didn't start. I don't think he was even on the bench for Brentford. Ivan Toney.
No, I don't think it was.
Lewis Potter. Yeah, it was just Lewis Potter, Brian Mbeumo, and Vissa who were playing for Brentford. So without Brentford, yeah, I think honestly this season Brentford are going to struggle without Ivan Toney.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tony will end up leaving this window. I didn't think he would, but I think he will. Big up to everyone coming in. Jose, it was great to meet you on Saturday as well. Jimbo, what did you make of the Liverpool game?
Yeah, do you know what, Kate? I'm not even going to say a word about it because I didn't see it. I didn't watch it on Match of the Day. I switched Match of the Day off after Chelsea, so maybe I should have looked at it to give my view. But I didn't see it, so I can't say anything about it. But
Yeah.
Liverpool won. They were expected to win. So
yeah. Well, obviously, before we go into dissect this too much.
yeah.
The scores this week on the predictions were in fourth place, me with 5 points, which is pathetic. In third place was Chang with 6 points. See, drugs test and it all goes wrong. I'm just saying. Last week, no drugs test. It got 13. This week, 6. And in joint, well, it's actually joint first place. So really, we got second and third. Nick and Jimbo both got 9 each. So we have a joint first place. I'm
a little bit gutted, Kate, because I normally
because you
do.
always say 4-0. And
Yeah, and I got a little bit carried away and said 5-0 instead of 4-0. But anyway, I don't really care because we won.
Big up, Phil. Very good message, but also woo and lovely to see you on Saturday, my lovely. Spurs 4, Everton 0. Obviously, Jimbo, we were there. We witnessed the beauty of that game. We witnessed the marvel that was Odegaard on his debut, which I thought he had a fantastic debut. The Tottenham fans in the South Stand, particularly, obviously that's where we were, so I can only go by that, were behind him 1,000,000%. Hello, Teddy. Were behind him 1,000,000%. Even when he made a couple of errors, they still were cheering his name. Van der Ven's run was wonderful. We kept a clean sheet. Oh, I could go on and on. Jimbo, what do you make of the game?
Well, first of all, I want to say it was lovely to see Phil, Jose, and Adrian, and obviously Nick, and Ellie. We saw Ellie as well. But I have to say, Phil has got to be one of the nicest people that's ever walked this planet. He's just such a lovely man.
Yeah,
such a nice man. It's always such a pleasure to see him. But yeah, it was lovely to see all of them. And Nick is just an absolute legend. The way he looked after us and looked after you. Another guy. There's not many people like him around, that's for sure. He was absolutely brilliant. So I just want to thank all them. What did I make of the game? Well, Kate, there was times in the game when I was the only person in our stand singing. So that tells you what I thought of the game. It was fantastic. I love it. It was just brilliant. They scored 4 goals. Tick. Odegaard, fantastic first game for us. Yeah, tick. Kuti scored on his 100th league game. Tick. Basuma, after his mishap last week, came back, played absolutely fantastic, scored an absolute banging goal. Tick. Sonny back on the score sheet, 2 goals. Tick. And it was just fantastic. I mean, I've got no criticisms. I'm not even going to criticize Johnson, who wasn't great, but I'm not going to criticize anybody. When the team wins 4-0, it's a team game. It's not an individual game. So the whole team galvanized. I've got the win we needed to get us back on track after the 1-1 against Leicester. So absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
Adrian says Jimbo gives us a song.
No, not now.
If you want to see Jim sing, you've only got to go to the shorts or the videos, because there's one of Jim singing away. Chang, what's your thoughts on the game?
I think Mr. James has really pretty much summed up everything I feel, and most of us fans felt that Saturday afternoon. It's no surprise really that Son Heung-min was the one to bounce back, despite everyone thinking that, oh, he's over the hill, he's past his best, he is nowhere near as good as he was when he had Kane as a partner, that he wouldn't even get into any of the other top 5 or even top 6 teams in the Premiership. I think that was one match for him to silence his critics, because if you would watch the replay of his first goal, where he was all the way on the left wing, he chased the throw in to whichever defender received that throw in, and then when the defender played the ball over to Jordan Pickford, he then closed down Pickford, and from there, I mean, the way he rocked him, and calm as you would like, he had all the time and composure to swivel and slot the ball home to empty net. I think I mean, you can write him off if you want to, but you run the risk of being humiliated by him, and Jordan and Pickford experienced that firsthand. For the rest of the team, I thought even the substitutes themselves every single substitute, whether it was Richarlison who came on, as did, let's see now, was it Archie Gray? Archie Gray came on, as did Bergval. Who else came on? Pretty much all our substitutes that came on, they all, there was no drop in quality to just cut it short. And I really do hope that this is not a one-off thing. Last season, when we won by a similar scoreline, last season when we beat Aston Villa 4-0 away at Villa Park, immediately after the next week after, we went, I think, to Fulham and we lost 3-0 there. So I really hope that lightning doesn't strike twice this season. So let's just hope for more of the same, please, lads, come Saturday against Newcastle United at St. James's.
I apologise if anyone heard that crash. Amelia just decided to knock all of her perfumes over. What was you going to say?
Well, look. Someone just put in there about me not criticising. Look, I can criticise. For me, there was 2 criticisms in the game, right? Johnson, I don't know what's wrong with him because I think there's a player in there, and I don't know. I can't understand. He's like a rabbit in headlights for me. Every time I see him play, he just seems really nervous, and I don't know. I'm hoping that Angie's going to get it out of him. That's why he perseveres with him. And the other negative I'll say is your doggy looks a little bit behind the pace at the minute. He seems like a yard behind the game in a minute, but we have to put that down too because we know how good he is. That he didn't have a pre-season and he's been slung in at the deep end starting the season because the Premiership's a lot different to on the training ground. So if I'm going to have 2 criticisms, that'd be the 2 criticisms. But he did well, your doggy. But there was times he was a little bit, I thought, a yard behind the game. But Johnson, I can't get my head around this kid because I think there's a player in there, but he's just not showing it. And someone put he needs to be dropped. Yes, yeah, he does need to be dropped. I don't think he needs to be gone, Destiny. I think he needs to be put on the bench and brought on with 20, 25 minutes to go. And it seems to liven him up a bit and take it from there. But I wouldn't say get rid of him, not just yet anyway. Maybe next season if he doesn't pick up this season.
Who said that Son was lucky? Did someone say Son was lucky to score? Because I haven't heard anyone say that.
No.
I thought Son was brilliant at the weekend. A lot of people have been writing him off. I tell you what, a couple of times I turned to Jimbo and said, wow, anyone who thinks he's lost pace needs to come and watch him. You don't realise how fast he is till he's in front of you.
Well, I'll tell you something. All you've got to do, right, is just look at the game from where VDV picked up the ball in defence and run, right? And if you watch what's his name, Sonny, and if you watch Richarlison on the right hand side running, they were so quick, it's unbelievable. So anyone who thinks that Sonny's lost his pace, he was lightning up that field.
To be fair, I've said it before, I think he's lost a bit of pace, but he really, really hasn't. I thought Odegaard had a fantastic debut, and a lot of people were saying there was no end product, but he's learning the ropes. He took on his man every time. He made a couple of errors, but all in all, I thought he looked decent.
It wasn't an okay. Is that Adrian?
Yeah,
Adrian, it wasn't an okay. He did really, really well that first half. At second half, he looked like he was running out of a bit of puff. But the first half, I thought he did really, really well. And his off the ball movement's fantastic as well.
I apologise, Simon. I didn't see the comments saying that Sonny was lucky, but he really wasn't. His movement on and off the ball at the weekend was excellent. Let me tell you something about Van der Ven. When you watch him, we was at the other end at that time. So we watched him run from our end to the other end of the pitch. He is unbelievably fast. You almost expect smoke to come out from his feet. He is unbelievably quick. And he's so tall.
Even in the first half, Kate, when he was up near the halfway line and they did balls over to their wingers and they were running down and he was a yard behind them, he catches them so easy. It's like it's just easy for him to catch them up and get the ball off of them.
Not yet, Angus. Not yet. I don't think anyone's going
Can
to
I
be
just
comparing him to Saka. Go on, Chang.
Sorry, Miss Kate, can I just quickly say this about Mickey Van der Ven now that you brought it up? If you all remember, if you're watching the game closely in the first half, there was this one very nervy moment, I think, for all fans in the stadium and also for all of us watching on the telly when Van der Ven picked up an injury where I really thought that he was going to be taken off.
Yeah.
He was down for a long period of time, and from the replay, it was quite a nasty tackle. And I thought that would hamper him, maybe even force Big Ange to make substitutions the same way Big Ange took Porro off when he was hobbling against Leicester City. Thankfully for Van der Ven, he was able to just shrug it off. And if there were any doubts that he was still feeling the ill effects of that first half scare, I think that box to box, that was a real box to box sprint by Van der Ven to set up Sonny for his second goal. So good to see that from Van der Ven. And like I said earlier, more of the same, please, come Saturday at St. James's Park against Newcastle.
Exactly.
Okay, can I just say to Angus, right? Angus, there's no need to keep
Comparing.
comparing. Saka's a great player. We know he's a great player, right? This kid's 19, and he's just come to his big club. Let him settle in. Let him get a season under his belt before we start saying, "Oh, is he better than him? Is he better?" He's nowhere near Saka's football at the minute. But let's give the guy time. Let's not start stacking him up against everybody.
No. Leo wrote, Basuma, oh my God, Kate, from your angle, it must have looked like that ball was steaming straight towards your seat. Do you know what? I thought it was going to blast through the back of the net and come and hit us in the face, because we were literally just to the right of that corner where he placed that goal. But, the atmosphere when that goal went in was just, well, every goal, but that just seemed special because it was Basuma, because he'd had the issues. Angie's comments after the game, I'm going to drop him next week because it seems to work. I mean, it's just brilliant. It was real redemption. Go on, Chang.
Yeah, and speaking of Bissouma and redemption, if you had noticed his sort of like apology, his bow to the fans when he did his celebration, and then after the bow and apology to the fans, he then went over to Big Ange, gave him a hug, like thanking him, or rather, apologizing for everything that went, and just being grateful that he's even starting at home against Everton. I think that speaks a lot about his character. Hopefully we will see the same Bissouma who played an integral part in us being unbeaten for the first 10 games of last season, and more of the same too from Bissouma.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's say there's not the only negative for me is Brennan Johnson, because I just don't see what on earth we're going to do with this guy. I think he needs to, if we are going to keep him, I think he's got to go on loan somewhere, because he looks lost. He looks like a child playing a man's sport. That's the only thing I can say.
I normally don't talk about players and what they're bought for, because it's not their fault. But I think to myself, whoever scouted him, because I mean, he did look a good player at Forest. He looked one of their best players, but I don't know where they got the price tag from. But at the end of the day, that's not his fault. But I think if he takes him out, and which I think he will, Kate, and puts him on the bench, and then starts using him off the bench, I think it'll build his confidence up a bit, and I think he'll play better. Someone just put he might have a light bulb moment, but that's what I think they need to do with him. But I don't see where they got that price tag from, because look, he's had a season with us. And he's had a pre-season, and he's had a couple of games, and he doesn't look any different to me. So
I do agree. I'm not sure what we're going to do with him. Bergveld came on, did a nice little turn, little bit of fancy footwork. Kulu, got to mention Kulu. I give Kulu a lot of stick. He is a different player when he's in the middle of the park. I thought he was excellent in the first half. I don't know whether you thought the same, Jimbo.
Well, he was kind of in the middle a bit, and then he was out on the right as well. He seemed to be juggling the two positions, and even when he was coming in off the right, he did really well. He seems to have found a little bit more confidence confidence, and maybe because he's got different players around him. I don't know, but I thought he was outstanding, Kate, and the way he was in the box and he took it like past 3 or 4 players. You know, his feet were so quick and laid it off onto. When you see it, when you're there and you're watching it, someone said to me before, it's not like when you watch on TV, but when you're actually at the game and you see it, it's different. His feet were so quick when you're actually watching it live.
It is.
I mean, it was he was brilliant. The way he laid it off, perfect weight for Biz to smash it in the back of the net. It was, I thought he was great.
I think when you see them that close, because obviously that's the closest we've been at the new stadium. We were so close. You realise how hench some of these guys are. Kulu is a big fella. Van der Ven is a big fella. I mean, little Wilson Odobert is tiny. He is so little. It's unreal. I don't know if he really is or whether he just looks really small compared to them. Even Madders, he looks really scrawny compared to the likes of Van der Ven and Kulu. But I mean, Chang. Oh God, what was I going to say?
Just let me say while you're talking about Odobert, how refreshing was it to see, right? To see someone on the wing taking on players. I mean, he loved it. He loved it, and his ball control. There was one where the ball was, I think, it was Maddison, kicked it right over from the left to the right, and he had a player, one in front of him, one behind him, and he was in the middle, and he brought the ball down. And he stopped the ball dead and then roasted them. I mean, it was so lovely to watch. Absolute class.
I know what I was going to say. Chang, obviously, when the team came out, we was at the stadium and it was all a bit, wow, Sonny's going in the middle rather than Richie. He's starting Johnson, which none of us thought he'd start Johnson. Were you shocked when the team selection come out?
Well, I wasn't shocked, but I was mildly. Put it this way, I wasn't shocked, but there was a hint of a disappointment in Big Ange's decision to not field Richarlison against his former team. I thought if there was one game in particular that we needed to give Richarlison his chances so that he can sort of get the monkey off his back, get the cold streak out, and go on a scoring streak. I thought this was the game to start Richarlison. And if somehow by halftime things weren't working well for him, then maybe take Richarlison off, bring Johnson on then, put Johnson on the right, Son to replace Richarlison in the middle, and shift Odobert out to the left. I thought that would have been the game plan for Big Ange, but I mean, credit where credit is due. I mean, this is why Big Ange did so well over in Asia and also with Celtic. And I was actually hoping for Richarlison to come on a lot sooner too when we were cruising. But I think he only came on No, he didn't. He did come on. He came on just past the hour mark for Odobert. So that was good to see. But yeah, that starting lineup did catch me off by surprise, but maybe in hindsight, looking back at it, I would say that it also caught Everton by surprise, because Jordan Pickford would not have guessed that Son Heung-min would be streaming down and closing him down for his opening goal. So that, I think, turned out well for us. And I think if Big Ange is feeling confident, we may very well see the same starting lineup again come Saturday against Newcastle United. That is, of course, if Dominic Solanke still isn't match fit for the away game against Newcastle. So the system works. The players are getting the hang of it now, and if anything, I really am looking forward to our second consecutive clean sheet this Saturday. If anything else, please, if anything else, just that.
Just someone I'd want to touch on.
Just say hello to Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby.
Someone I want to touch on quickly is Pedro Porro, Jimbo, because he was epic. His passion for the club. He's doing this all the time. You actually said you think he's one of our most underrated players.
I just absolutely adore Porro. I have actually got a shirt now with his name on the back. I just adore him. I just think he's everything Spurs should be. He's passionate. He never ever doesn't go over and give his shirt to somebody and clap the fans, and he gets really revved up. It's for me. He's another one who's Mr. Spurs for me. I just love the man. He's one of my favourite players in the team. He really is. He just gives everything on the pitch, and he's just passionate about Tottenham. He loves Tottenham. I just love him.
Yeah, I mean, Chang, do you agree with Jimbo? I mean, someone's saying he's leadership worthy. Is he a future Tottenham captain? What do you think?
Pretty much everything about Pedro Porro is what we've been missing for a lot of our players that we have shown the exit to. I mean, if only we had other players like Matt Doherty in the past, even Ndombele, all these players who, just didn't make the grade, or they didn't show enough passion, or they just didn't give enough for the crest for the fans. I think for me, Porro is one of those players who would on his day he can score from all corners of the pitch, from all positions. And the only, I wouldn't say it's criticism, the only worry for me with regards to Porro is his defensive ability, because there was some talk that we might get a long-term replacement for Emerson Royale now that he's already gone. And this long-term replacement for Emerson Royale is going to be the player that actually pushes Pedro Porro further up the field, maybe into right midfield, so that actually then pushes Kulusevski back up to right wing, or someone else to right wing, and sort of shift that defensive right back responsibilities to our new right back. Because I think everything that is good with Porro has its downside to it when it comes to defensive frailties. And if only Porro could work on his defensive frailties, I think it will only be a matter of time before the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid tempt him to go back to Spain to play for them.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, we're going to have to wrap up. I'm getting nagged because everyone's waiting for us. So Jimbo's saying to me, we're going to have to wrap up. We've got the
whole family waiting. So
thank you everyone for watching. We are back. I'm not sure when, tomorrow or Wednesday.
Tomorrow, let's do tomorrow so we can talk more about Spurs, how wonderful they are.
Please do smash a like before you leave. Chang, when can we find you next?
So if there is nothing on from between now to Friday, I think I'll be back here again, same time, same place, for the Friday weekend preview. And then beyond that, hopefully come Saturday, I will be able to resume my watch-along show with Mr. Sievers over on LTL Cockerel. There was something that I completely goofed up on Saturday, and I still am kicking myself in the back because my internet let me down big time. But I was very fortunate to be able to come on at full time on both United Spurs of America with Jacob talking about the post-match review, as well as the post-match commentary with I think it was, I was doing the post-match over in LTL, and that's when Jose himself called us up. Jose called us up, and we had that video call. I saw you, I saw Mr. Stroker, I saw Nicholas Collison-Wright, I saw, Queen Ellie. There was so many people there, and it was just fantastic, especially when you get such a big win. Everyone is so bouncy. The whole place is rocking, and more of the same place this season, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Exactly. Listen, everyone, thank you again. We will do our predictions for Newcastle on Friday. When we do our prediction show, we're not giving it away too soon. Have a great day, everyone. And Jimbo, I'll let you end the show as only you can.
This is what
Come on, you Spurs.
Go, Jimbo.
This is why we support our club. Nice 4-0 win puts you right up there in the clouds. Come on, you fucking Spurs.